Welcome. In this video I would like to talk about the computer science program at KAUST, and in particular I would like to talk about courses and the program guide, basically how to select your courses and what to do if you're a new student in the computer science program at KAUST. These are three people you will interact with during your computer science studies here at KAUST. Ida is the graduate program coordinator. She can help answer many procedural questions about the computer science program. In particular, she will be the point of contact for submitting many of the procedural forms that you will need during your studies. My name is Peter Wonka, and I'm the program chair of computer science. I'm happy to discuss with you your program of study or give course recommendations. Also, I can also discuss other academic concerns. Maybe you feel unfairly treated by someone, we hope not, or you're somewhat overwhelmed or not progressing well in your studies and might want to have some suggestions. So academic concerns, I'm happy to discuss with you. Mutas is the dean of M.Sc, and he's here to maybe resolve very important questions. And typically he's the second instance in cases where certain things cannot be resolved at the lower level. So Mutas is there to give his final permission for certain things, but generally he is not the first point of contact if you have any questions. Then also note that the people that are listed here can always change, but the job titles should stay the same. Now, let's look at some information you should look at before selecting your courses and right at the beginning of your studies. So hopefully, if this is you're looking at this during orientation, this should be right now, today, tomorrow. Most important for academic questions is the program guide. The program guide is a very long document, but the CS component has just a few pages. And you should really read that as soon as possible. That means right now, if you're a student. The presentation that I will give here will mainly go over important parts of the program guide, and I'll also show it briefly after this slide. Further, you should look at the CS web pages, where you find a good collection to links to other information and some information specific to the CS program. For example, you will find forms to download or information about our qualifier. Let me show these web pages next. So here are the computer science web pages. And you can find things such as news, meet our alumni, some calendar, or a pre-recorded message from the computer science program chair, that is me. Now, what we're going to talk about now in this video is mainly part that is listed here. So let's go to this. There you see a study link with many possible sub menus here, but actually all these seem to link to the same page. So we can just go to the page and you can look at the different categories there. All right. This starts with some inspirational message about the computer science program, and then here you can find a link to the KAUST program guide. We will look at that next. When you come on campus, or maybe even before, and you're a new student, then you should take this placement test. And the placement test is there to assess your overall background in multiple different categories. You can see them listed here. So for students, for new students, they might want to look at this placement test and familiarize themselves with what topics there are to get some idea of what will be asked. So assuming you already took the placement test, let's move on to the next category, CS qualifying exam. this is a table that shows a categorization of courses into 7 different categories. So what you see here is first category is mathematics, and then all these courses from AMCS 211 to STAT 270 are in this first category, mathematics. We'll see here, second category is theory and algorithms, third category, visual computing, and so on. And then this is the final category. There's only one course so far, but this is something we can hopefully extend over the next year, cybersecurity. I will refer to this categorization in the course of this presentation. Now, we changed the qualifier a bit, so that this information up here is for students that started in fall 2020 for the year 2020-2021, and for the previous year there's a slightly different qualifier system. So you see the form that corresponds to the old qualifier here, but that should not concern newly starting students. Here you can find frequently asked questions, and I actually find a lot of these questions are really important, so I highly recommend that you also read these questions as soon as possible. And I will actually try to go over a few of these questions after my presentation. Scrolling further down, you will see information that is maintained by the division and is relevant to all M.Sc students. So that includes electrical engineering and applied mathematics. For example, you see a link to the KAUST academic calendar, the student handbook, course list and syllabi, or the class schedule for fall 2020-2021. Here is the course list and the syllabi. So from this list, you can go to computer science, and you can see a list of courses that are offered in fall 2020-2021. So you see, for example, CS 204, data structures and algorithms, and CS 370, geometry processing. So now I clicked one of the courses, Deep Learning for Visual Computing, a course that I will offer this fall. And when you click on one of the links, then you will see additional information to a course that should help you decide if this course is interesting for you or not. Now, the syllabus for most courses is somewhat tentative, and professors may or may not decide to slightly adapt the course during the course of the semester. Now, let's look at the KAUST program guide. The KAUST program guide is web-based, so when you follow this link, you will see that these web pages are all about the program guide. And this subsection of the program guide is about the computer science program. And so we can just scroll through it just to convince you that this is not that much information. You can basically easily read all of that in pretty short time. However, all of this information is extremely important. So it is really important that you read this information as soon as possible, and you pretty much should know all of it. Now, in addition to that, there is some general information that is helpful for all students in KAUST. So university information, degrees and programs, academic information, general admissions. So I also recommend to read most of that, for example, here. All right. Here we're looking at the academic calendar. So what you can notice, for example, is this color light orange. This corresponds to the semester. So let's find out when the semester starts and when it ends. So here, semester starts August 30th, and then it goes until December 10th. However, what comes after December 10th are 13th, 14th, 15th. These are exams, so we have something like an exam week here at KAUST. Going back to the study page of the computer science program, if you scroll all the way to the end, you will see here, almost to the end, you will see here many forms that students can fill out. So, for example, application for traveling scholar status, completing in absentia, credits, add drop, grade change, MS thesis application, so on and so forth. So these forms you can obtain from the computer science study webpage. And also other things are procedures, policies, and guidelines. So these are additional documents that you might find helpful. All right, so what types of students do we have at KAUST in the computer science program? We have 3, or actually maybe more precisely 5 types of students. We have students that come here for the Masters of Science program. And these students are divided into 2 categories. Students that do an MS degree with thesis, and students that pursue an MS degree without thesis. Then we have students that are here for a joint master's and PhD program. What that generally means is that these students will first complete the master's requirements and after that fulfill the PhD requirements. Generally, these students were recruited already with a research advisor in mind, and so these students most often will do a Master of Science with thesis and then subsequently a PhD with the same advisor. And some of these students may also do a Master of Science without thesis and afterwards do a PhD. Now, since the MS/PhD program is basically a combination of the MS and the PhD program, the students in this category mainly need to know about the MS program and then about the PhD program. So in the following, I will mainly discuss the MS with thesis, MS without thesis, and the PhD program requirements. Let's start with several definitions. A 200 level course is a course that has a course number in the interval 200 to 299, so that means it starts with a 2. A 300 level course has a course number in the interval 300 to 399. We also have 100 level courses at the university, but it's not clear if some of them are offered this semester. Then the course prefix is the abbreviation in the beginning of a course that tells you which program offers the course. So a CS prefix means it's a computer science course, and an EE prefix means it's an electrical engineering course, for example. So what we call a M.Sc course is one that is offered by one of the 4 programs within the M.Sc division. These 4 programs are computer science, AMCS, EE, and statistics. In general, the M.Sc courses are related to computer science. At least they're more related than courses from the other divisions. So often courses in statistics or AMCS or EE are popular with computer science students as well. That means a particular type of courses or a subset of the courses in these other programs are popular with computer science students. So the system that we have in place now doesn't allow for cross-listing, or only allows for cross-listing really rarely. Therefore, the courses in other programs such as EE or STAT that are more geared towards computer science as well as students of their own program are not specifically marked when you look at the list of courses. So a BC, SAMC/PSE course is a course offered by any of the three divisions. Now, that seems to include all the courses, but that is not really the case. So there are other divisions on campus, such as industrial development, that also offer courses, and these other entities on campus that offer courses, their courses would not fall under the designation BC/SAMC/PSE course. So later, we will refer to regular courses, for example, a regular CS 200 level course. And this definition is more defined by what is excluded. So there's a list of exclusions of courses that do not belong to the category of regular courses. And these are courses such as internships, master thesis research, dissertation research, or courses that CS students cannot take for credit, such as CS 207, or courses that have some prefix that are not from an academic unit on campus. Note, however, that certain types of special courses, such as CS 294 or 394 contemporary topics, are included in the definition of a regular course. So one side note about this CS 207, the computer science program offers some courses that are either remedial courses, maybe for students that didn't have a lot of exposure to a certain topic in their undergraduate studies, or courses that are maybe interesting for students outside of CS to take for credit, but not for CS students. And so there are several of these courses that have maybe an early CS 200 level number that you need to watch out for because you cannot take them for credit. So just check the course description or the program guide for such information. Here are some requirements for all students. First, you need a minimum GPA of 3.0 to graduate. This requirement has been the source of some drama because if you do really poorly in your first semester, then it is actually quite difficult to get your GPA back up to 3.0. So please watch out that from the start you try to do at least somewhat well in all the courses and not have your GPA drop a lot below 3.0. All courses require a minimum of B- for course credit. So if you have something like a C, then you didn't exactly fail the course. However, you cannot use the course for graduating either. It's like you have a course that does negatively impact your GPA, and you have to take another course or retake the same course so that you can get credit for it. Now, the graduate seminar is a course that all students are required to register for and receive a satisfactory grade in their first 2 semesters at KAUST. So if you are a new student and you do not register for this graduate seminar right now, then you're almost certainly doing something wrong. So that's the first simple takeaway message. You have to register for the graduate seminar 398 this semester and also the next semester in spring. In KAUST, we offer something that's called the Winter Enrichment Program, typically offered in January, that has multiple components. And during the Winter Enrichment Program, we bring a lot of exciting external speakers on campus. We'll see how realistic that is with Corona this year. However, that was the case in the past. We had Nobel laureates, field medal winners, and other very high-profile leaders of research and industry coming onto campus during WEP. And each student has to complete WEP at least once. And in general, that means as early or as soon as possible, preferably this year, especially if you're a master's student. Let's talk about the concept of the academic advisor. Each student has an academic advisor. If you're recruited already into a research group, that means if you're a PhD student or a PhD and MS combined student, you already have a research advisor, generally the faculty that accepted you in his research group when you applied to KAUST. And MS students are per default assigned to the program chair, myself, so I am the default advisor for all MS-only students. The courses that you would like to take, so the course choices, need to be approved by the academic advisor. And this approval process includes, for example, checking that the level of difficulty is appropriate for you, that it fits the course fits the educational mission of the CS program, and also there's a check for courses outside the CS program, especially outside of M.Sc, if this course choice is somewhat appropriate. So examples for this would be if you are a computer science student with a computer science background and you want to take a very advanced mathematics course, then while there's no obstacle in principle, I would like to discuss with you first if you really have the necessary background and probably ask you to check with the instructor if this course choice is really appropriate. Or if you would like to take a course outside of M.Sc, then often I would like to check with you, is this part of some interdisciplinary research project, or is the main goal to take a course because you believe this gives an easy grade and you would like to take an easy course this semester. In this case, this will most likely not be approved. So MS students that wish to write a thesis need to secure a research advisor. So if you're an MS-only student that came here without research advisor, you have some time, hopefully maybe at the end of the first semester or during the second semester, where you can talk to multiple faculty and see if one of them wants to take you on as a MS thesis student. An MS student can do a PhD after the MS part of the studies, but they need to secure a research advisor. Generally, they need to find an advisor they can impress during their studies so that the advisor wants to take them on as PhD students. Just satisfactorily completing all the MS requirements is not sufficient to then start the PhD program, because you need to secure a research advisor. So most MS/PhD students that are here for this integrated program continue with the PhD after they finish the MS portion, but they need approval for their research advisor. So sometimes, but rarely, it happens that the performance during the MS portion is not sufficient, and then often the advisor and the student discuss together and hopefully decide amicably that doing a PhD is not in the best interest of the advisor and the student. Let's talk about the MS program. So the MS requirements are 9 credits of core courses, 15 credits of elective courses, and 12 credits for Research Capstone Experience. These last 12 credits will be different depending on if you're a MS with or without thesis student. The core courses are easily defined, keeping in mind the definitions before. Core courses are all regular CS 200 level courses. So the exception are contemporary topics. So any regular CS 200 level course that you can take for credit, of course, is a core course. So you need to take 3 of such courses for 9 credits total. Elective courses, you need to take 15 credits of. Now, this might be written in a bit unusual way in the program guide, so let's go over that in some detail. So elective courses are regular 200 level and 300 level courses. There are some restrictions from which programs you can take these courses. So 3 credits have to be CS courses. That means at least 3 credits have to be CS courses. You can take all of them CS courses if you want. 6 credits have to be M.Sc courses, and again the note is that includes CS courses. And 6 credits have to be B.Sc, M.Sc, Ph.D. courses. Again, this includes CS courses or M.Sc courses. So that means at most 6 credits can come from other divisions, B.Sc and Ph.D., but also this requires advisor approval. The main idea here is to enable interdisciplinary research. Here, again, the remark is that this definition allows a student to take all 15 credits from the CS program and only choose CS courses. Now, the Research Capstone Requirement, again, different if you're an MS with or without thesis student. Let's say you want to do the MS, you're doing the MS thesis part of the program, then these will mainly be research credits working for your thesis, and see some details in the program guide about how to form a thesis committee. It's probably not something you need to be concerned right away. All right, now if you are a non-thesis student, then you have to take courses for these 12 credits. And the type of courses you have to take are exactly 6 credits of directed research. There is some exception possible if for some reason you cannot find an advisor that is willing to work with you as a directed research student, then you, with, again, permission and with approval, you might be able to substitute directed research credits for other courses. But let's assume for now that every student takes exactly 6 credits of these directed research, and then the remaining credits can be industrial development, internship, or other regular 300 level courses. Let's talk about the CS PhD program. So there's a residency requirement that you have to have been here for 3.5 years for students entering with a bachelor's degree and 2.5 years for students entering with a master's degree. However, in computer science, the average number of years that a student spends here as KAUST is definitely longer than that. You have to secure an academic advisor. You have to successfully complete the program coursework. You have to pass the qualifying examination, and then you have to pass the proposal defense, and finally you have to write your thesis and you have to defend it. In general, our program is research intensive. So while a lot of these are formal requirements, of course the main goal is to do and to publish great research. Let's look at the PhD course requirements. So these are fairly simple. Either you complete the MS requirements here at KAUST, or you come with a MS degree already. Then you have to take 2 300-level courses, where one course can be a B.Sc, M.Sc, Ph.D. course, and one course needs to be a CS course, again subject to advisor approval. However, there are other sort of course requirements that you have to fulfill. One of them will be for the qualifier, and there are these general course requirements that are valid for all students, such as that you have to take the graduate seminar. These are these requirements discussed in the beginning of this presentation. All right, let's talk about the qualifier. The qualifier has been slightly modified this year, so it is different from the qualifier last year and different from the qualifiers before. A student has to pass 3 courses. One course needs to have a grade of A- or A, and 2 courses need to have a grade of B+ or better. The list that you saw before on the CS web pages is a list of eligible qualifier courses, and they're structuring into different bins, into different categories. And a student is not allowed to select more than one qualifier course from the same research area from the same bin. So what you should do is you select 3 courses, and each course from a different bin. Then there's an additional requirement that the 3 courses need to be taught by 3 different faculty. PhD students must pass the qualifier within a year, and if you don't pass it within a year, then the dismissal procedure will start. You have a chance to appeal, but in general the expectation is that you have to pass within a year. Then a side note is the KAUST PhD program requirement is that you need to take at least 2 300-level courses, and you can use these courses also as your qualifier courses. So these courses are not in addition to the qualifier. In general, it's expected that these courses have some overlap. PhD students can use also KAUST courses they completed before starting their PhD. In general, that means that we would expect that every MS/PhD student, every student that had an MS from KAUST before starting the PhD, has already fulfilled the requirements when they start their PhD. No waiver will be given for any course outside KAUST, and as soon as a student passes the qualifier, they should submit a filled out qualifier form that is submitted to the graduate program coordinator, including a transcript so that the GPC can verify that you actually successfully completed these courses. And please check the program guide for details. There are a few minor additional explanations that will be helpful for you to check. There's additional information in the program guide about PhD candidacy and the PhD proposal defense, but let's worry about that later. Even if I tell you about it now, by the time the proposal defense or the actual defense comes around, then you will have forgotten whatever I told you right now. All right. Now, let's repeat maybe some of the main information and what are the next steps. You're a new student. You need to register for the graduate seminar for the first 2 semesters you are at KAUST. If you're a new student, you don't register for the graduate seminar, almost certainly there's something wrong. Now, you need to take the placement test to identify possible remedial courses, but I think most of you or all of you already took the placement test. If you're an MS student, you have to register for 12 credits. Generally, that means 4 courses, 3 credits each. And no, you cannot take, not 9 courses, 9 credits in the first semester. There's virtually no exception that will be given. All students have to register for 12 credits. So you should be looking for regular, typically CS courses that you are interested in. And then you come and discuss your study plan with your academic advisor. That's most likely me, the program chair. If you're an MS/PhD or PhD student that has a research advisor already, then discuss your study plan with your research/academic advisor. That is most likely someone else than me. All right, not sure what to choose. Well, first of all, try to look at the descriptions of the courses online. Then you might want to send an email to an instructor, maybe ask for additional information, or try to talk to an instructor online or after a course. Now, it is also often the case that students want to look at some more courses during the first 2 weeks, and then within the first 2 weeks make a final decision. So you can add, drop, that means change courses during the first 2 weeks of the semester, but after 2 weeks this will need approval, which is generally not granted. And also, you cannot drop courses during the semester because things are not going well. There are options to drop courses, but these need really significant reasons, and these reasons need to be very strong. It cannot be, I failed the midterm, I don't want to get a poor grade, I would like to drop the course, or I didn't realize the course was going to be so hard, it's not really a good match for my background, I would like to drop it. So these type of things don't work. And so what most students do is maybe they choose the top 4 courses that they would most likely want to take and sit in, whatever that means with Corona, in 1 to 2 other courses, and then possibly switch within the first 2 weeks. There's some problems with this. You have no access to Blackboard. You might miss the first assignments. So I'm not giving a strong endorsement for this strategy. However, it is commonly done, and it seems to work at least reasonably well. But don't push it too far. It is actually much better if you can really decide within the first week, because in my experience, if you decide at the end or in the second week, then most courses are actually already quite far advanced. And then, in my experience, students have problems catching up. All right, let's leave it at that. Thanks for listening, and I hope we're all going to have a great first semester for you at KAUST, and that all of you will have a very successful time studying here at KAUST.